um, through the process, I figured out that this is the format I would like to talk in, just like pretty dry, but encouraging.
Yeah.
But so that is the emails, and I worked on other things alongside of it. So my ultimate goal right now is to create that a MailChimp sequence and just start mailing, uh, and see what's going to happen then when I use different system than my own.
Right.
But I need to start selling something. So
So
that's
how many did you write? Or you just have the structure down?
5.
Five. Okay. Do you want to go over those? Is that
Uh,
worthwhile in our strategy session today to
no, no, I would rather just keep moving because yeah, I already went. I spoke to James just a minute, like a few minutes
okay.
ago. Yeah. So yeah, I just need ideas how to make money. So if we can just go somewhere in JV or whatever you want to do, uh, talk to me about something that you think it helped you, because I see you're successful now. Congratulations. But
Well, it's all relative, right? So I appreciate that. Of course, I'm not where I want to be yet, but yeah. Um, okay, well, this is open strategy time, right? And we're going to really get into JVs and sort of more marketing stuff next week. But if you want to get into it now, we certainly can. What from our conversation on Tuesday, um, you have your. I'll just recap a bit. You have your current customers list who just buy product continuously, and then sort of this new list that you're building, which is basically in its infancy, and that's where you really need to start building, right?
so it turned out that the Dripify that I have started using, uh, to just addresses the LinkedIn leads. But it's not a very, I don't know if I'm going to get any leads from it, because how it happens is they get endorsed and they send thank you back to me as they're endorsed. There is a message then go the next day goes to them that I'm creating this free gift. Oh, no, I have this free gift that talks about erasing dark circles uh, with nothing else but your fingers. So would you be interested? Or yes, would you be interested in getting a copy of it? But this is so sleazy that I don't know if I would be really. Anyway, so if they respond, I got 2 responses,
Okay.
and
Sorry, keep going, and then I have some comments. Keep going.
I got 2 responses. So I sent back. I said, "Oh,
Okay, well,
she,
hold on. What were the responses? What did they respond with? Like, yes, thank you, I
yeah,
would like it, or
yes, I'm interested." So I said, Perfect. So let me send you a copy. What is your email address?" And that's where it stops. Is that sleazy? That is. I
sorry,
don't
when
know.
you say sleazy, how do you mean? Like you feel sleazy that you're asking for it, or
I am sleazy because I asked for the email by hooking them on that conversation. I don't know if this is the right thing to generate leads.
okay, okay, here's a couple suggestions for you. Instead of asking for their email, maybe you just send them the link and then they can do it themselves. It's the same thing. They know that you're going to get their email, but they don't have to actually type it in. You've given them the power to get to opt in or not.
Well, I don't have the opt-in. That's the thing. For that free
Okay, so
gift.
you have a PDF that you can email them, but you don't have it automated that if someone just comes to wherever that it's hosted, it automatically collects it.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So
Okay, so I think that's uh I still have a number of thoughts, but I think that's a huge thing because if when we talk about JVs, right, you can't, if you're going to a giveaway or you have some speaking event and something, right, it needs to be a link that the host can direct people to, or if you're on a podcast or whatever, right? it can't be that people just can go get it passively. People are more passive. They're not going to, and from your sake too, you don't have to be like, oh, I got 20 people like who somehow I know they want it, and then you have to like email them separately, right? You got to automate that. It's not a huge thing, but you got to automate that process and have it hosted somewhere where if it's in your drip, whatever you call it, drips thinking, whatever. Sorry, I forgot. Or you have it in your MailChimp or whatever. You got to have it somewhere residing so that's just automatic.
I think MailChimp, that's where I would collect the emails. I'll look into the MailChimp to do this.
Because once you have that automated, then your messaging could be, are you interested? Yes. Boom. Here's the link. And you just kind of leave it at that. Or here's the link. Let me know if you find value afterwards. And of course, in your lead magnet, you should also have a call to action and then like, hey, did you find this, helpful? Contact me here. Here's my website. Here's a QR code, whatever. Alternatively, you could, when you're in that first automated message, hey, do you suffer from such and such? Are you interested in this? Here's a link, and just give them the link right off the bat. And then they don't even have to respond. It's a less barrier to entry even for them. They just have to click. And of course, they're not clicking to download it. They're clicking to the web page once you have it ready to enter their information to get it. That way they don't have to respond, yes, I want it. Then you have to respond back, you know what I mean? I know some coaches are like, build a relationship, have a conversation, blah, blah, blah. Like this is just my personal opinion. That takes a lot of time. Not only time wise, like you have to build this over days and weeks or whatever. It's also a lot of your time. I did this strategy before, and I'd spend like, 2 hours a day trying to do these type of messages. And I'm not saying don't do it. I was not successful. That doesn't mean it can't be successful. And it is successful for people. And I know I had I call him, I use quotes coach. He wasn't really a coach. But he'd be like, well, you need to do more. You need to do 4 hours a day. And I'm like, I don't have 4 hours a day to do, anyway, so that's kind of a couple comments there. My other comment is, and if you want to share it with me, I can make you co-host and you can share it exactly. But I don't know, like, I'm going to assume, okay, I'm just going to, from what I know from my clients, myself, and then I'll just kind of use how I know from my wife, right? Who is probably actually your target audience to some degree. Actually, my wife would be your target audience. If you're saying like, hey, we're already self-conscious about our looks, and if we didn't sleep well, if you come in and saying, and I don't know if this is what I heard you say, right? It's like, do you have circles under your eyes? Like nobody wants to admit that. You're making them kind of feel like maybe a little negative right off the bat, and then they're not going to respond. They're less likely to respond. Maybe there's better language. Like, do you wake up not feeling as refreshed as you would like, etc. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, I don't ever say that. Do you have dark circles? Yeah, I usually don't.
That's what you told me. That's what you said to me earlier in our conversation. So
I said to you, but I don't say that. I say it differently, where I'm more general. Dark circles I mean, watching TV at night or being on the screen time at night causes dark circles. Do you suffer from that? Something like, so I don't say directly, but in the emails, I would have to look for the emails that I wrote, but every day has a different thing. But let's just finish something, because you said earlier that create a free gift link in a lead magnet, but what's the second page? You said do the thank you page. The second page is a thank you page, or what?
I didn't say that, but yes, it should be. So if you yeah, so wherever it's going to reside in your MailChimp, right? Whatever your guide is going to be there. They're going to like land there, and it's going to have a picture of your gift, maybe a little bio of you below, picture of you, very simple, and then like name, email that they have to fill in. And then when they click that, then a pop-up thank you page will come up like, thank you, your guide's on the way, shortly, type of thing. And then it'll just automatically direct to the email they put in.
But you also said something that you would put on the bottom of the gift page, your contact information.
Well, you're giving them some value, right? So you're like, hey, here's the 5 steps to et cetera, or whatever it is, right? And then at the bottom, you know, maybe have like, again, your little bio about you, how I got into this, maybe tiny bit about your story, or, you know, it could be at the top, like, I created this guide because I saw people struggle with this and I struggle with this too. So I want to help other people and I want to help women just like you. So I created this and here's my 5 steps, you know, whatever, you can top or bottom. Maybe at the top's actually better, but then at the bottom, here's a call. You need a call to action. It's like, if you found this helpful, like, and you would like to learn more, you know, come to my webpage, or here's a workshop I'm running and here's the link. Or again, it could be the actual link. You know, people are becoming very, especially maybe not necessarily your target audience, but, you know, certainly people like a little bit younger than us, you know, they're doing everything on their phones. They're used to doing a QR code, you know, type of thing. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to have there. That's something I recently added, is it just have a QR code. The QR code just goes to the same place, right? Right. But it's just, if people are more, you know what I mean?
But in America, people were resistant, but now after COVID, they are a little bit more open to it. Yes. I've tried QR codes before, it didn't really do it. But now the Google is introduced the ability to scan the codes from right from Google. So maybe it will work. I'll try that too. So you're saying if you find this information helpful or you need more, what, training or?
If you'd like to learn more, or how I can work with you, or, you know, how to learn these, incorporate these techniques further, you know, whatever the thing, I don't know what your guide is, right? But
What I would like them to go to is that course that I'm just working on right now with that sequence thing, Beta Ask, basically.
yeah. Yeah,
But
so
they would,
whatever you have there, it has to send them somewhere. Of course, that has to be ready. I mean, if it's not ready, you could have a page where it's like, where it says coming soon, or like be put on the wait list for the next workshop, something like that.
but in this case, they would have to pay for it. So is that the right thing to do?
So no, okay, hold on. So, okay, let's take a step back. So you have the beta of your program, that's a paid program, right? But we also talked on Tuesday about running you know, a workshop or something free, that free first consultation, right? No, we didn't talk about, sorry, I'm confusing, right? So it's if something paid. So maybe there's something else. I agree. Maybe there's something else that they could go to first, or something else they could download, give them more value, another lead magnet, potentially. I'm just throwing out ideas here. And then from there, you send them to something that's paid, or you send them directly to something that's paid. Either one works. Of course, the more value you give ahead of time, more know, like, and trust you build with them, the more likely they are to like buy something after, right?
I know. That's why I can't send them to a paid page, even if it's beta. So maybe I will create a webinar. I think that's what we're going to be doing with James today. Is that probably?
Tomorrow is he's going to go through how to build your slide deck for
Tomorrow
for a workshop. Yeah.
for a workshop, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Not today, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think today he's just going over Claire's slides, or her presentation.
So yes, so
And
maybe
you're next week, right? I think you're next week.
I am, but I don't even know where to. I need to record that now that I found out. I have no idea. There's no structure so far. So supposedly then I have to record this and send it somewhere. Where do I send it? To the email or to the messenger?
I would just directly message it to James.
To the email.
No, I'd send it, yeah, to either his personal email or send it in Facebook Messenger directly to him.
Yeah, he says message.
Because it'll just be like a YouTube link or something, right? Wherever you record it.
Got it. So yes, so that's what I have to do first. So I gotta record that. Okay, that's fine. So it would be that, and then after they hear that, and that's when I can say, you know, this is the beta, or not beta, this is a course that I'm running.
Right.
But I
The other
wouldn't
thing, though, hold on. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Lena. Just something came in mind. You told me that you have like some recorded videos of right. So that could also be something that's the added value. Like, here's a video, again, not one that gives away all the techniques, not all the self massage, but something. It's like, if you like this, here's a link to a video. or something, right? But then there has to be that call to action there then to get them to come to the workshop or directly to buy the program or whatever, right?
That's a free gift you're talking about, right?
Sending them from the first lead magnet to a video, yes, that's free. Just again, build that know, like, and trust. You give them more value, you give them something else, and then from there, try and get them to join the workshop or directly into the program, however you choose.
So now it's 2 steps before the workshop.
It could be, it could just be 1 step.
So I do have videos, and I could find video that is attractive enough not to give away completely everything. So I could do the video as a lead magnet. And then the second step would be a webinar, or yes?
Well,
Or
I guess technically it's step 3, right? So we got PDF lead magnet, potentially a video that's essentially also a lead magnet, then the workshop or directly into the program, but probably workshop first.
Okay, so the PDF is not as attractive as the video, so do you want to choose between these two or not?
I think a PDF is low barrier entry for people to give their information. And I think that's why everyone uses it, because it's kind of just psychology. And it's easy to like put in a link or something, right? Like if you send them, depends how you deliver the video. If you're just sending them to a video, even if it's a private video on your YouTube page, then the call to action becomes a little bit more challenging, right? Yes, you can embed a link in there. You can say, hey, look below, here's the link to join. If you're interested and you want to, like, you can, but that's an extra step, right? I think that's why lead magnets are pretty much standard. And if you look at, some of the bigger names, James included, when they run a big campaign, and we're not there yet, right? But I'm just saying as an example, it's lead magnet 1, lead magnet 2, lead magnet 3 to workshop to something, right? They're like trying to, because again, sometimes different lead magnets are not going to resonate with. Ideally, you want the same person to download all 3, right? But sometimes, that's not interesting. But then you target them again 2 days later with different lead magnet. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, I'll download that one, right? So again, when you're promoting or your partners are promoting and they have more options, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here, right? Let's get one lead magnet done and working, and then into the free workshop.
I will do that in MailChimp. So I will do a PDF and the video in MailChimp as a lead magnet.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I will have the link. So when I send an email, do I put a picture of that lead magnet or just send them a link?
So, okay, on the landing page, which will be in your MailChimp, right? You're going to have, can we do it for you? So on the left, we got backwards here. You're going to have the picture of the lead magnet, like a graphic of it. Then right beside name and email, like 2 boxes, and then maybe a little bio and picture of you below. They enter their information. Thank you. It's on the way. And then when it comes to them, that'll automatically trigger an email to them with the PDF. So they actually get the PDF that they can download and print or whatever they want. Now, when you're doing nurture sequence, when you start to build your list or JV partners, right, you're sending them the link to the landing page to enter their information.
Yeah, to the landing page. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. So I'll just go to MailChimp or whatever. I need to create a page, 2 pages actually. One is that, and then the second is a thank you page.
Right, and super simple thank you pages, like thank you for downloading this. It'll be on its way momentarily. Don't forget to check your. I mean, even this last part, you have to just say it's on its way momentarily, or you can say don't forget to check your spam filter or your spam folder or something as well.
Right, I have to set up the sequence, I guess, because that has to automatically go to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do that. Yeah, I have to sit on that. Okay, so that's easy. So MailChimp should be able to do this. And now the webinar, or is the webinar good for JVs to, what's webinar is gonna do for me to go out and try to,
Well, okay, so I think we're talking about the same thing here. So webinar, workshop, I think we're using this term interchangeably, which is totally fine. So this is where you're going to spend your 60 to 90 minutes
Mhm.
giving lots of value, giving your 3 Ws, of why people need to work with you, help them identify, self-select in that this is their problem they have. And then the last, 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how long your workshop is going to be, is your pitch. Like, here's my program. It's cost this. Can add bonuses if you want. Again, just follow kind of the formula. I would start with like James's formula, and to be honest, I've tweaked it along the way. And my current one that's basically leading people into this program, I've gone a little bit different. So I work with my marketing team, and we're like, let's try something a little bit different. So it's relatively the same, but there's some changes. So you have to make it your own, and again, I'll use Elisa as an example because I've seen her workshop. Right off the get-go, James's style of structure didn't resonate with her personally, so she followed it loosely, but she made it her own. And I'd say my current one, like for this program, is somewhere between James's and Elisa's. So very structured, very less structured, and I'm kind of somewhere in the middle type of thing. So again, make it your own, but there's certain elements, some certain components you do need to have, right?
Okay, first, I want to ask you, what are the 3 Ys? Can you remind me that?
The 3 Ws.
Oh, 3 Ws, yes.
Yeah. So, you would have done this exercise some time ago. Like, what are the the real pain points that people have that you're going to talk about?
So that's in SBS?
That was in let me think. Yes, that was started in SBS. Yeah.
I gotta look into that. And now,
I'm sure, Yolanda, maybe you haven't flushed it out completely, but you've certainly probably at some point in the journey it's come up. Like, it just comes up recurring as it's a whole lesson in SBS. But just like, what are the 3 things that people are going to most benefit? Like let's, obviously I'm a student of James. I follow his methodology as well, but let's put that aside for a second. Like, forget about James's terminology just for a moment. It's like, what are the 3 things people get? you know what are the 3 most benefits and or pain points that your program then helps? And then you're going to have a case study or testimonial from someone you've worked with that addresses one of those 3 points. So 3 problems, here's how I work with people to solve it, here's 3 testimonials or success stories, and that's a big chunk of your workshop or webinar.
and the last 15 minutes is the
offer.
Offer. I don't know if I can, yeah, I have some webinars already. I just have to restructure them. So I gotta go back to the book, whatever. So this is what the JV would look for?
No, okay. So the JV doesn't care what your workshop looks like or what you talk about, right? Well, the JV is either, it depends how you structure it. The JV is either going to promote directly to the lead magnet, where you're going to collect their emails and then you retarget them and you send these new emails through your sequence to the workshop, or the JV is going to send directly to the workshop landing page. People will sign up for your workshop because, like, hey, this sounds like what I want. And then it's on you to like deliver. And of course, you're going to track it and all that. And if I send you somebody and then they buy, then, you're going to pay me my commission in 30 days.
Yeah, so that's that. I don't know if it's possible for someone who is not really sitting on emails to do all that. That's crazy. What do I need to do because you have to be so on top of it after you start running with the JVs. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if JVs is the main marketing strategy, which James promotes and which I promote as well, which I do myself, is like when you have a launch coming up, you have to be on top of it. You have to have all the automation written, all the, you have to, make sure that it works in your system, whatever you use. You have to let the JV partners know. So for, as an example, for my next launch of my healthy aging program is, the promotion period is coming up here in about 3 weeks. So by tomorrow, I have to get all my swipe copy. I mean, I'm using the same one. I'm just tweaking. I'm always tweaking the messaging. Me and my marketing team were like thinking we want to add a few elements because we're going to change it up in September. We're going to change the messaging around. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. We would have changed it for now, but we just felt we didn't have enough time. So we're going to change it, but we're going to start changing some of the elements and some of the language we're using now, so that's not such an abrupt gap, or such not a. I mean, it's relatively all the same, but anyway, point being is that by this Friday, I'm giving all my partners all the swipe copy, all the graphics and everything, so they can start putting it in their promotional calendar, even though promo doesn't start for 3 weeks.
Okay, so did you have the team when you started with the JVs?
No, I did everything myself.
Yeah, it looks like I'm not gonna be able to do this unless I have a team or someone who knows what to do with the JVs. I don't know if this is the right thing for me to do, because I have to be physically working.
Well, so Yolanda, this is the question you have to ask yourself, right? So you have a physical location and you see people in person. That takes up so much of your time, right?
Right.
Whatever it is. Now, going on to the online with what you want to do, that's going to take up a certain amount of time. And you have to decide for yourself what that split is, how much, right? And then whatever that time is you can dedicate to the online portion of this business, then you have to see, at least in the beginning, it's going to be more on the planning, the content creation, etc. At some
Yeah.
point, that becomes, I mean, there's always tweaking, like I just said for myself, but at some point, then it becomes the fulfillment. It's having the calls with the people, like we're having the call today, right? So it's more heavy on the content, again, the sequencing, and maybe you make sure the tech works. But then once you do that once, I mean, there's always things to fine tune, but once you kind of figure it out and set it up the one time, it becomes so much easier and so much faster later.
That's what I'm saying. Like the beginning part is gonna be a trouble, but because later, of course, I have that split of 50-50 in a business where I have 50% of time to this business and then 50% of my time to the other. It's just the sequencing. I probably would have to hire somebody to help me with that.
So with which part? Hire somebody for what?
Creating this whole system for the JVs, because it's a lot to think about, a lot to know.
Well,
The
okay,
link,
let's flesh it out here. I don't want to make it seem like it's easy and it doesn't take work, but at the same time, I feel I'm getting the sense from you that you're getting overwhelmed, and I don't think it's necessarily overwhelming as either. So let's take a step back here. So what are you going to need for JVs? So first of all, I think step one is like you need the lead magnet because you need to start building your list. You need to, right? That's a whole separate thing because you can't really JV until you have a list, right? At least something. Yeah, I think you need, probably. Sorry, how many people are in your list again? Not the existing clients, the new list you're building.
no, new, just starting the building, so I don't have anything in
Okay,
the new.
so like essentially zero. So you probably want to get to some level of at least, maybe 300 to 500, something like that. I've JV'd with people, like a year ago, had 300, but they had a very engaging list, and James uses Glenda as an example all the time.
What's Glenda?
Glenda Lane, she's one of the students. She was in my cohort, so she went through the program like same time I did. Anyway, when I first started my first launch, she was one of my JV partners. She only had 300 people on her list, but she did a very small list, but very engaging. Right, people really resonate with her. And when she said, "Hey, my friend Deepak is doing something," they're like, "Oh, I'll check it out." Right. So I got one sale from her. I got one client from her. So again, point of bringing Glenda up is small list before engaging. So it starts from somewhere, right? So you need the list first, and we can talk about list building activities, but let's just focus on the whole sequence. So now when you have some level of list, a couple hundred people, now you're ready to start having conversations, right? Obviously going to networking events, being part of James's community is such a bonus right off the bat, because now you know all these people who are in SLS with you who might be collaborating, people who are in other cohorts of SLS who are all part of still the Facebook group, etc. You can put out into the Facebook group like, hey, I'm looking for JVs. Like, I don't know if you saw my post. I'm running a JV call tomorrow. Just saying like, hey, anyone, open call, just show up if you want, whatever. I'm looking for JVs for either one of my two programs. Just show up. And I think 4 people are gonna have whatever. So you can do stuff like that. Bottom line is there's a community already. It doesn't take a ton of effort. And that's how I started.
In a
And then
Facebook, in a
in James's Facebook group, yeah, and in class, right, and stuff like that. Then of course, you go to networking events, et cetera, type of thing. You meet more people that, hey, I think it resonate, right? Start to build, so there's the building list, and then there's the networking people, and having those conversations like, hey, what do you do? What can you offer? This is what I offer. This is the commission, and all that kind of stuff. And we can talk more about the fine points of that if you like. And then once you're at that point, that's when you need like, okay, now I need some software to track the affiliate links, right? So I also know people who are very small, right? Who like, they don't even have that. And there's like starting out, they don't even use the affiliate tracking software. They're, like as an example, if you signed up for my, okay, so if someone signed up for mine through, let's say you were a JV partner of mine, Yolanda, and you say, hey, my friend Deepak is doing this thing, check out check out this landing page, and they come, right? Of course, I use affiliate tracking software, so you're going to use your unique link, right? They're going to come, they're going to sign up automatically. I know they're assigned to you, and then whether they buy or whatever, right, you'll be commissioned. But when they register for the workshop, I mean, it's a Zoom workshop, right? It's a host on Zoom, so they have to put their information. I add another column in there. It's optional, but like, who referred you? Oh, Yolanda referred me. So now it's a secondary, it's a backup almost. And so through the software, it's like, oh, this person came from Yolanda. And they also, again, optional, they chose Yolanda. So now I know, right? So, I mean, you could do that as simple as just who referred you. Now, it's not perfect because people forget, or they maybe see the same offer from like 5 different people and they don't remember, or they're just like, oh, I saw it on the internet. That doesn't help you. But what I'm saying is, when you're starting, you don't necessarily need to invest in software to track affiliates, but some way to track it is the next step, because you have to be able to like, figure out who came from one. And the other thing you can do, even people don't even do that. I think, when you're starting out, you have your, let's say you run the program, beta or otherwise, you get 10 people. It's not that hard to like talk to these 10 people individuals, like, hey, how did you find me? It's like, did you see one of my posts, or did you download my lead magnet? One is like, oh no, I've been on Deepak's list for a long time, and he mentioned you, and I thought this was really interesting. So I came, yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, so you came from Deepak. You could just manually do it too. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed with, I need tracking, I need to hire someone to set up this thing, this type of thing, right?
is it that? What do you use? The Thrivecart?
So when I was using Kartra as my CRM, Kartra had affiliate tracking. I moved away from Kartra for my email, so now I use Thrivecart. So yes, Thrivecart is the affiliate track system I use.
That's fine. Yes. So that's the thing. So first, I need to work on a list. And what do you offer? So yeah, talk to me about the JV structure, the money, the how do you pay them or whatever?
Yeah, so I pay, pretty much everyone has like a PayPal account now, especially if you're kind of doing this JV thing, like almost everyone does. So I pay via PayPal. So again, when you're having this conversation with someone, get to know you, what do you offer? Does it's going to resonate? What's your audience? It's kind of got to work both ways, right? Like, I might love what you do and I'd love to promote that. That's great for my audience. But if you can't reciprocate, then it's kind of hard, right? So Obviously you want to like I mean, this is just my feelings, right? I want to like the person, actually, like they're a good person. Two, do I believe in their product, or can I see it? And is it a match for my audience? And then it's like, okay, now let's talk about the terms, so when are your launches? When are my launches? Can you, how can we do this? And then of course, if there's a list size difference, it's like, how are we going to make this equitable? Right. So maybe it's like, okay, well, you have to, can you mail for me twice and I'll mail for you once because my list is bigger. I'm putting you in front of more people than you can put in front of me. So, how can we make this equitable? And then sometimes it can be extra things, right? If I'm the smaller partner, it's like, hey, I'll, not only mail in twice, but like I will also, I think somebody else, I'll make an introduction for you. And would you like to be on my podcast and give you more exposure? So, the more assets, promotional assets you have, it's not going to work for everyone, but you can offer different things up. But again, and that's why when you're starting, you want to play with people who are at the same level, relatively speaking. So let's say you get to, I'm just making up numbers, you get to about 300 as your list. You're probably going to play with people with a list of 1,000 and less, thereabouts. Once you get over 1,000, then you can start to play a little bit different. And then once you get to like, because on my health side, my list is like 5,200. So now I'm able to be more creative and able to work with people who have lists of 10,000 or more, just based on that. And some of that's relationship too. And to be honest,
How much do you,
I'll get to that in a second. What I started doing when I had a small list, but I had a list, I started promoting people before I even had a program or anything like that. So when I started working with James, again, I was already doing not good at that time, honestly, but I was emailing. So I started promoting other people in advance. So when I finally had a program or something to promote 6 months later, then they owed me. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to, most people want to reciprocate. Most people don't want to be jerks about it, or, so then I was like, oh, I have something, would you bail? And now they're, because I had already promoted for them before. So don't be afraid to, like, maybe also promote in advance. I had a
oh,
JV
but I don't know, what did you promote for them before the JV event? What did you promote?
I promoted their JV event to my audience. The small audience I had then, I promoted their workshop or their book or whatever it was.
I thought you've promoted something else before the JV.
No, that was a JV. So, okay, let me, sorry, maybe I was confusing. I was using the JV model to promote other people before I ever had anything for someone else to promote myself. I did not have a lead magnet. I didn't have a workshop. I didn't have I mean, I was coaching, I had programs, but, not what I'm currently doing. So, but because I had a list of a decent size, I was able to do that. And my people had already received emails from me, my own emails. So it wasn't strange that they got an email. It was almost novel, like, oh, Deepak's sending something new. I should check this out. Right
Okay.
now, my people just know, if they're paying attention, every Wednesday, Deepak promotes somebody else.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
got it.
Now, as far as the percentage, it's going to kind of depend, kind of standard. The higher the ticket item, obviously, the lower the percentage. So if you have a 10,000 plus program, it's usually 10%. If you're something very cheap, like, $97 or less, sometimes it's 50% or even 100%, but it depends, right? If I get a lot of people in the door and I can convert well, then
Yeah.
you're not worried about the $97. You'll give the partner the whole commission to get them to be incentivized to promote more, because you're going to sell them the $2,000 thing later. You know what I mean? So it's going to depend, but standard is usually 25 to 30%. James pays 30%. I used to pay 25. Now I pay 30, just again to incentivize the partners to actually do that little extra, to actually, when things aren't, when a launch is not going, I'm a little bit behind, there's like 3 days left, I feel a bit more comfortable going back to my partners like, hey, I appreciate all the work you've done. 2 days left, can anyone do an extra email promotion? And sometimes people do, because they're like, oh, okay, let's, again, depending on the price of your program, 25 to 30% is, maybe $50. It's not that big a deal. It's not life-changing money, but it's a nice something to incentivize people.
So are you saying that I don't have 97? I was thinking of 299. It's still cheap, but so you're saying you would give this at the beginning for free to them so they can make the money?
No, no, no. At $299, I would probably do 25%, 25 to 30%.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's fine. So let's talk about the list building. What other ways? Okay, networking is one.
So I'm just, that's roughly 75 bucks, right? At 299 times 25%, that's about 75 bucks, right?
Yeah.
Which of course, then you have to also make sure that works before, that in your total structure. Because remember on Tuesday, we talked about this is how much you charge for like kind of an hourly rate. We talked about if you package it right off the get-go, they get 2 sessions and giving the option of a 1 or a 2, and then 2 is, of a discount, and people realize that's a discount, so they might buy the 2. Remember we talked about that on Tuesday. So you have to decide what is your time worth, right?
Yeah, I remember that, but oh, okay, battery. Can you believe this? So I do remember that, but that was coaching, not the video, not the program.
Well, I
So
thought the program was the 2-session coaching or the 1-session coaching.
no, that was a separate thing. The coaching is a separate thing. The videos or the
Okay, let's take a step back. What's the program then? It's a series of videos?
the program is a series of videos on how to do that, that I'm teaching without me. This is just that.
Okay, got it.
And
Got it.
is coaching.
And how many videos or how many hours of content is it, or
It's about 4 hours.
4 hours? Okay, so it's all pre-recorded already, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing you have to do. That people buy and it's automated. They get video 1, video 2, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I haven't figured out the video 1, video 2, so I have everything all together in the program, so they can just look at whatever the most interests them, they can just look there.
But they get a link to some to your course management or your CRM. That's where those videos are hosted.
It is hosted on a platform, which is my social media, where I told you I have the chat support.
Okay, so when somebody purchases, like, thank you for purchasing, a follow-up email will come with your login access, something to that effect.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in that case, okay, I was confused. So 297. See, what you could do is, again, this is your business, you have to run it. 297. Yeah, I don't know. So okay, let's say you're comfortable with that price. To incentivize the partners to promote that, you might actually want to give a bit more, like maybe give them a third or even up to 50% potentially, because the work's been done. You don't have to do any more work go forward. So to really incentivize the partners to do that, like, oh, I get 50% of this, I get 200 bucks or sorry, $150. Like that's more enticing for them, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind, because right now I'm in a building stage, so I wouldn't mind. Yeah. So that's the course. So first there would be a landing page, right? And they will get the link to that. It's overwhelming for sure. The link to that with their affiliate link. So I have to create in ThriveCard then. Right?
Yeah. So if that, again, let's take a step back. Maybe for the first one, you just see how it goes. If you get super success and you're like, I can't manage this all, I need to automate it with a tracking link, then maybe worry about ThriveCard then, right? But yes, ultimately, yes, you're going to give every partner who's going to promote their unique link, which will, and that everyone's link will send them to the landing page to purchase the on-demand video course, and it'll all be tracked through the software. And then when people buy, like, oh, this person came, Bob Smith bought, oh, that person came from Deepak. And then you're like, hey, Deepak, you got 2 sales, Bob Smith and Jane Smith, and that's $150 each, so $300. What's your PayPal address? I give you my PayPal address, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to pay you at the end of the month. At the end of the month, boop, I get $300 in my PayPal.
Okay, so you basically trust the JV. So in the future, if I am going to become the JV, I have to trust the person that they tell me the truth that they sold it.
It's a relationship business, right? Right. And I think if you have any inklings about someone, then you probably they shouldn't be partners with them. Um, Now that certainly, there's partners who don't perform as expected. Maybe they promised they didn't mail. That's a whole different thing. I don't really think I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'm a good judge of character or not. I don't think anyone's like screwed me where it's like, oh, you didn't get any sales, Deepak. Appreciate your support. You didn't get any sales, and they actually did. Like I don't think that's happening.
Mm.
In my working with James in his business, I'll just share this, and I'm sure he'd be happy to share. And of course, he's playing at a different level. It's not so much about not trusting each other about pain. It's more about, um, hey, I brought you 100 people, and when you promoted back, you only brought 20. How do we make this equitable? Right? Because then it's about kind of trying to be as fair as possible, especially when you work with people over and over again, or even multiple times in the same year. Like we just had this difficult conversation with one of James's partners, where they're like, we brought you 100 and you only brought us, or 180, you only brought us 50. Like
Okay.
we want to see, so there's some of that. But to answer your question, hopefully we can trust our partners and that they're not going to try and rip us off for a few $100. Because like if word gets out, it's all about reputation, right?
Yes. So then let's say that the truth is you did make 50 sales rather whatever. What would you do the next time? You would give them more commission?
That's possible. Yeah. There has been a situation where, someone promoted the heck. This is a James example, and I don't know if I should share, if I'm not sure. Let's just put it this way. There's creative ways to get over these type of differences. Maybe it's an extra promotion next time. Maybe it's paying them a special bonus, whatever. I'll give you an example that's a real example to me. When I did my last launch, somebody signed up for my program that's ongoing right now. And remember I said I have that extra question. How did you find me? Right. So from the affiliate tracking system, they were attached to nobody. So from affiliate tracking, they came attached to nobody. So I'm like, okay, awesome, 100% for me. But when I looked at the data afterwards, and
Yeah.
I track all the data who come every workshop, you can I think you have to spend some time. You don't have to be it doesn't have to be overwhelming, but you do have to spend some time. In their extra thing, they said, I found you via this person. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So this person, I
But
won't mention.
how come they weren't reported as the link? They clicked the link,
Well,
no?
here's what I think happened is they got onto my email list from the last time that person promoted. So now this time they got my original email. It was the right time now. They signed up, but when I asked that secondary backup question, they're like, "Oh yeah, I originally found Deepak from this person." So that's what they put in there. So what could I have done? What could Deepak do? Hey, the affiliate tracking said you did not come, so there's no commission to be paid. This partner is a very important part to me. They actually, our list size is about the same, but they have a very engaging list. They bring a lot of people from past times. They've been my number one partner as far as like people actually showing up and opting in. So I emailed her and said, hey, nobody came this time, but ironically enough, when I talked to one person, they said they came from you. Now I didn't come from the system, but I appreciate you as such a good partner. I'm going to pay you full commission. And they were blown away. They're like, oh, wow, like, well, thanks. Like, you didn't have to do that. Now, guess what? I didn't have them for my upcoming launch here in April, just 3 weeks away. I mentioned, right? They were not signed up to be a JV partner this go around. And I was kind of feeling like I'm a few short, a few partners. So I reached out to her, was like, hey, what do you got going on? How can I support you? What's going on? I invited her to be part of my giveaway if it works for her. I said, hey, I got these 2 launches. Does that work for you? And she had something come up. She's like, you know what? I have this thing, but I could probably send one email the last few days of your promotion. Would that work for you? Absolutely. That'd be perfect.
Just
So
one email. Just
it's
one
only
email.
one email, but she is such a strong list
Yeah.
that her people will show up. And I'll just give an example of why she's such. Anyway, long story short, would she have done that? Yeah, maybe. Did me paying her commission when technically I probably didn't need to make a difference? Probably. This is a person that I want to be a partner for a long time.
I'm going, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's something I did. I'll just share this one example. I know we got only a couple minutes left here. When I first met her, let me think. So I reached out to her to be a JV partner, like this was like last year, probably in like March or April or something like that.
Mhm.
And I didn't hear anything back, right? So okay, fine. Most people didn't get back to me when I just kind of cold emailed people to be JV partners. And then it
Mhm.
was like, let me think. Was it September? Yeah, it was September. She emailed me back like, "Hey, sorry, this came up, but it got buried. I've just seen this now. My apologies." I'm like, "Oh no, hey, we're open to a call. Yeah, let's have a call." So this is like Monday or Tuesday. We arrange a call very quickly. By Thursday, we have the call. I tell her what I'm up to, blah blah blah. She's like, "I love what you're doing. We're such a good match, blah blah blah. It's awesome." And she's like, how long's your promotion run?" I'm like, "Well, the last workshop is this Saturday, like 2 days later, and then the program starts next week." So very last minute, she's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "I can send one email. I'll send one email tomorrow if that's okay." I'm like, "Yeah, happy to have you. I just I'm hearing about long-term relations, blah blah blah." She sends one email. My opt-in rates double off that one email. So I remember this is the end of my promotion, right? I'm like, okay, I got like 75 people opting in. Okay. She sends one email, a whole bunch of people opt in. Now, do they all show up for the workshop? No, that's a whole different story. Many of it was last minute, whatever, right? But her people are engaged, but whatever, 60, 70 people sign up, only a handful show up. I don't think anyone bought that time. But now I've added 70 people to my email list. Just like that.
That's
Right?
good.
So, and a percentage wise of where I was that time, and that's not that big a deal, but it's just the power of like that type of person. So I want to make her happy. So anyway, I know I've kind of gone around and given you a few different ideas, and we're obviously at different stages here, and we've kind of run out of time, but let's talk about list building activity. Let's really briefly talk about it right now, and then we'll talk more about it next week. So obviously getting into giveaways is one thing. Potentially speaking at summits and that sort of thing, where again, but you need to have your lead magnet that you can give away, right? You need that piece set up. You can't really do that type of stuff until you have that automation piece we talked about at the very beginning.
Okay, so I have the lead magnet. So I have the free gift for summits that I used to do with other people, but there's no automation. It's a link that they go to, and okay, because it was a free, so there is no email collected. Right. I gotta fix this. I don't understand marketing.
Yeah, like if you're not, the whole purpose, I mean,
to collect
so
email.
let's use the giveaway and summit are different. We can go a couple minutes long. A giveaway, the whole purpose of participating in a giveaway or hosting your own giveaway is to collect emails. That's really the only purpose. So you have to have some mechanism to be honest. Go ahead.
In a giveaway situation, yes, but I'm talking about summits where I am asked to give free gift and I'm not to collect the emails. They collect the emails.
Do they give you the emails after?
So if they sold, yes, if they had signed up someone for that gift, they would give me that. So it's basically I trust them to give me the.
So either way, right? Like I've seen that as well. Most of them, I would say the majority are actually, what's your link? We'll share your link, and then people are going to your website, landing page, whatever, and you're collecting them.
So I have
because
to
the host is collecting all the registrants, whether they buy the gift or not buy the gift, whether they click on the link, whatever, they're just collecting the registration emails. So they're getting all the emails anyway. So they don't, so.
Okay, so I have to put the opt-in before, even on a free pages, in the pages that I give it to summit people who run the summits.
Yeah, like most of them, anyone that I've participated in, it's like, what's the link? You know, and they might sometimes like, what's the picture? Because they might want to feature it, but they're not actually collecting the link. It actually goes to my site. I'm collecting the emails. They're
It's
collecting all the registrants for the summit, which I don't get. They're not sharing that with me.
yeah, it was set up differently, but that's the summit that I was just on. So they were paying some kind of percentage on the VIP gift. So they collected all that.
Yeah,
So
sure. I
this,
mean, there's a lot of different structures to do
yeah,
that
yeah.
for sure.
No, I understand. So the giveaways, where would you give away? Who would you give this away to? Just randomly to anybody?
Well, I mean, you got to find giveaways that are aligned with what your offering is, right? Excuse me. So, you know, there's plenty of, you know, giveaways that are health focused, which is where you'd land, or maybe even potentially, you know, there's some that are like, you know, women's leadership. And, you know, so if that's your target audience, you might want to try and get into those. And you're going to probably be offering something different. You know, people's like, you know, my gift is coaching. My gift is how to de-stress, my 5 steps to blah, blah, blah. And if you're like, here's my 5 steps to feel more refreshed and youthful in your face, and you know, whatever, that's like, oh, that's something different. That might actually stand out. So I see it, you have potential for women's leadership, you know, or, you know, executive women's conference, you know, whoever your target audience is. And then you probably have the more general of just general health as well, or holistic health, you know, these type of things. These are the keywords you could probably search or look for to find giveaways and or summits or speaking things. Plus, talk within the networks that you belong to. Talking to who's doing whatever. So, perfect example. I talked with. I went to a networking event last week. Met someone in the room. We set up a call we had yesterday. We're gonna try and be JV partner. She has a much smaller list, but we're gonna try and figure something out. And she mentioned she's talking at or she's doing some other giveaway. And I was like, oh, whose giveaway is that? She said the person's. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Can you introduce me? And she did. Now I might go into that person's giveaway. So just ask around, ask people, right? There's so many. There's always ones going on all the time.
I'm gonna have to look for. I like the women's executive, whatever. Where do you find them? On Facebook or?
I would probably do like just do a Google search using some of those keywords, and some might come up that have been in the past. It's like they're already gone, but then I would contact them, connect, like, hey, I missed it. I love what you're doing. Let me know next time. You know what it is.
That's a speaking opportunity you're talking about, right?
Well, either speaking opportunities or just giveaways.
Oh, you Googled giveaways?
Yeah, like I would Google, women's giveaway, leadership giveaway, women's leadership, a few different things, and just see what pops up, right?
I didn't know that that's Googleable. I thought
Well,
speaking
all these sign up pages are all web pages, so they're all searchable. They've all been indexed.
Okay. I will yeah, I didn't know that there's such a thing exists that giveaways. You Google for that. Anyway, so yeah, I'll try that. So you have a messenger somewhere in front of you? Can you?
I was talking about my computer troubles. So I got Zoom on here because this is a better office with better lighting, but all my Facebook and everything's open on my other computer in the other room. So did you send me something, or do I need to look at something?
To see the format of the emails that I'm gonna be sending, problem, solution, and the truth. So as similar to that. So that's basically that's what's gonna be even in my webinar. That's the format I like. So maybe it's a little dry, but it explains exactly what I'm talking about. What
Yeah.
problem solution.
So since you've bought, you have basically a week to get a practice workshop video done for James to review, right? So I would suggest watch the training I can't remember if that's an SLS or SBS. Obviously, you can watch Claire's today and anybody else's who's gone so far, and sort of get what that structure should look like. But I mean, make it your own. Don't feel like you have to follow exactly, but there is a reason why it's structured in such a way, right?
And any recordings, any events that we do, they're in the membership websites, in the membership
Yes,
site?
yeah, they should be within 48 hours, they should be in there.
Okay,
I know we got a little behind, James got a little bit behind there, but I think we're pretty much caught up.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's perfect. So I don't want you to hang out. It's late, right? It's 1
Yeah.
o'clock.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna stop the recording.